partner in crime, Joe, joining me again.
We got another special guest.
Don't forget, man, I got your 6. All right, well, there we go. New intro for a new year. Hey, man, thanks for joining us. I say us because, me and my partner, Joe, are back. The new year of the Police Softball Podcast, along with Deanna in the background. So thank you guys for tuning in. I know it's a different night, so it might throw a few people off, but either way, appreciate you being here. I know a lot of people watch this show either on a later date or they listen to it when it comes out on any number of the areas that you can pick it up when it comes to listening. So check it out. A bunch of different, in the details, you'll be able to see where you can tune in just to listen if you're on the way to work, which a lot of people say they watch it when they're on the way to work. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. If you don't know, my name is Trinidad. This is a podcast we came up with along with my partner to be able to, enlighten people if they don't know anything about our police softball circuit. And also to keep everybody in the circuit in touch with what's going on and give us an opportunity to get to know each other a little bit better than just on the field competing against each other. I am Audrey's husband. I'm a United States Air Force veteran, along with being a 23-year law enforcement veteran. I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. I'm a franchise business owner of a business called Biotex. It's a crime and trauma scene cleaning company. We're stationed out of San Antonio, but we have franchises in Houston, Austin, Dallas, and Fort Worth. And I have a nonprofit called Shields for Kids. It's an organization that's officers from different agencies that go out and provide for kids in the community that are in need. We go out, we take a lot of pride of doing this in our own time and on our own dime. But thankfully, you guys understand what we do and see the results. If you visit our Shields for Kids Facebook page, you'll see a lot of the gives that we are involved in. So anyway, we really appreciate you guys supporting us. I am going to be able to introduce my partner now, Mr. Joe Monahan. I want to bring that guy on. What's going on, man?
We are back.
Yes.
2022.
Yeah, man. Happy to be here. Thank you for joining me again.
I can't believe that pumpkin in the back has still made it.
So
how that thing isn't rotten, I have no clue.
I'm telling you right now, that thing is in for the long haul. I think he's going to make it to Waxahachie this upcoming year.
Yeah, something's wrong with you, man.
Yeah, well, he's a good partner, man. He listens, doesn't say a lot, Yeah. He's there for me at all times. I mean, perfect partner.
Yeah, something's wrong with you, man.
What's up, Stu? Happy to see you, man. Thanks
back.
for joining us again, Big Stu. Hey, so Joe is the coach of the Missouri Lawmen. He's a director of the St. Louis Show Me Classic. He's a coach of the Louisville Sluggers Masters Division team, which I'm not too sure what we're going to do this year. It's kind of a weird year for the Masters Division. He is the East Conference Manager of the Year and is my friend. So hoping to see you and the boys here sometime soon, Joe. Hope you make that trip down to Texas.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Stu did. Stu was able to come by and spend a little time on his trip to Texas. So that was pretty cool, man. It's good to be able to spend time with him. Yeah, him and his family. Got Mark Jackson tuning in. What's up, Mark? Boy just got over COVID, by the way.
We got all the heavyweights tuning in today.
Yeah.
All the big boys.
Yeah.
Stu and Mark, good to see you.
We end up creating a flag football team. Those two dudes are in the center. Let's see. Mark over there playing golf. He sent me a message letting me know he's back on his feet. Not quite himself. Only played a half a round, but made it happen. It's good to see you, man. Lyle Reyes. How's it going, Lyle? Got some cool stuff that I'm going to be showing you next show about Lyle. Some cool stuff that came up. And Thomas Eldridge also, same thing with Thomas. Got some cool stuff I'm going to be able to talk about with Thomas, man. Dude's got a lot of experience in police softball, man. I'm really excited to be able to share with everybody what's going on with Thomas and his team. He's got some neat things coming up, Joe, that I think flew under the radar with the topic of today's show being the team movement, player movement. Pretty exciting stuff for him. So
Well, I imagine there's probably quite a few teams that flew under the radar, and that's probably by design, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So we got Jan Scott tuning in. Great to see these faces again. Hopefully see y'all soon. Got D Ward tuning in. What's up, D? Hopefully he's healthy this year. Man, guy's freaking awesome even when he's injured. So I can't imagine if he's been rehabbing the right way, what that dude's going to do.
D doesn't give a shit about me. He just wants to give a shout out to that pumpkin in the background.
I hope Jay-Z tunes in. Hope they all tune in. The Great Lakes boys. I hope they all tune in and see it. What's going on? John Irvin.
Johnny.
How's it going, man? And of course, the missus. Hey, so we got a great show coming up for you guys. What we did was a little something different this year is we ended up doing a little bit of pre-recording. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're still live, still here to be able to comment on your comments, but got some recorded stuff, and it helps us to be able to get things in order a little earlier, a little less stress. So Joe, I know it's the off season. I know that I'm going to be able to share some things that have happened in the off season with myself, but what do you got going on, man? What was happening in the off season with you?
Well, I played some softball in the off season, but before I get into that, I want to give this is kind of not related to softball. I'd like to give a shout out to my nephew. My nephew Will Smith. He just committed to Ohio State this past weekend.
All right.
He's going to be playing defensive line for them. He's only a junior right now in high school, but he had about 13 D1 offers. He decided he wanted to commit and play for Ohio State, which is obviously a top-notch school, and we're all excited for him and super proud of him, and we know he's going to go out there and kick some ass, basically.
Awesome, man.
He's got another year to prep. He's still got a senior year to look forward to, and the coaches at Ohio State said they're going to help him with some game film and stuff going over that, help him improve through his senior year and get ready for Ohio State. So I'm pretty pumped for him, and I know he's going to do a great job. So,
man, I'll tell you what, when you start talking about, just like I talk about with baseball, when you start talking about all the kids that start in football, where I don't know what it's called. I don't know if it's pee-wee kind of football leagues or whatever. And then, filter them up until you get to the pros. I mean, it's amazing the percentages of people that start and ultimately make it to the big show, man. It's crazy. But forget the big show. I'm talking about just college in any level. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He actually started out his football career playing flag football in like a youth league. And I remember the story about him going to, I think it was one of his first flag football games. He actually wouldn't go out on the field and was crying and everything else. And now he's getting, full ride scholarship to Ohio State to play D line for him. So he's come a long way from those flag football days. But man, we're proud of him for sure.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Well, congratulations. His name again?
Will Smith.
Will Smith. There you go. How do you forget that name, right? Will Smith. All right. Hey, man, that's really cool. Congratulations, Will. Happy for you, man. That was a way to stay committed, and ultimately the lessons he's going to learn up there being a part of a program like that, man, just going to be huge for him moving forward in his lifetime. So really cool, Will. We got Dwayne Killian. For those that don't know, this dude's out of San Antonio. Look up to him big time, and great people, him and his family, and always supporting, not even in the police softball circuit, but is always up there donating. And he tunes in with Dan's site, and he's always pitching in and always helps me out both emotionally and also with anything that I'm involved in. So big shout out to Dwayne. Thank you, brother, for tuning in, and happy for him and his brother. His brother's got some things that are going on in his family, so we keep them in our prayers. But they've got a lot going on over there, so thinking about them. We've got Brandon West saying, congratulations, Joe. That's big time.
What's up, Brandon?
Let's see. Whoa, Brandon, we got you involved in a little bit of something about you in our pre-recorded show that we did, the part of the show that we did earlier. So tune in for that one. Harry Sean Gallo. What's going on, man? How you doing, brother? That dude, looking forward to him and this year, this round of getting into or being nominated for the Hall of Fame. Guy deserves it. I'm going to be, pushing it for that guy there.
100%.
All right, man. Yeah, man. So we got a lot of stuff going on. Let's see what's next. We've got what I've been up to. So I went to been on quite a few vacations. You're trying to squeeze in a lot of vacations. A lot of people ask me about where I'm going next and what I'm doing. It's pretty cool because what I like to do in my YouTube channel, which I guess that's a good segue into it. Hey, man, if you want to be able to support myself and Joe, if you tune in on YouTube, I know a lot of you guys tune in on Facebook, and I understand it's convenient. But, man, if you get the opportunity and you can go to my YouTube channel and to be able to just, man, go to YouTube, subscribe, you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell on the right side. That really helps a lot if you not only subscribe, but also tune in on YouTube. So we'd appreciate that. But yeah, I got a Traveling with Trini type show that oh, there you go. $8.95. I need 1,000 subscribers, man. If I can get to 1,000 subscribers, I get to push out some pretty cool stuff. So we're really trying to get to that point with this.
Trini, how do you not have 1,000 friends? Come on, man.
I'm $8.95, man. That's
everybody knows Trini, man. How do you not have 1,000 friends?
I got to get out there a little more, I guess. But yeah, it'll help out a lot. We appreciate it. But yeah, man, I've got a Traveling with Trini program, and I highlight some of the places that I go out to. And on the next show, I'll show some photos and to be able to kind of give you guys a little idea of what I've been doing in the off season. So, Joe, that being said, I know we're going to go into our
before we go into that, let me touch on one thing real quick. So last episode we did last year when I was in Florida, and it was actually the weekend that that Tyler Timmons was killed in the line of duty. When I came back into town, there was a fundraiser for him, and that I participated in. I was lucky enough to join up with the Midwest Heat guys, and that fundraiser, that softball tournament, there was 30 plus teams that showed up over those 2 days, and there was silent auctions, there was raffles, there was barbecue. It was a little cold, but there was tons of people there, and they ended up raising, it was CJ Spink and Jeremy Stone are the ones that put it on. They did a great job organizing it. They ended up raising nearly $30,000. That all that money went to his wife and daughter, Lindsay and Chloe. So that was a huge event, and it was a great turnout, way bigger than I think anyone expected. And it was just awesome to be a part of.
Yeah, and that's where I was headed to with what's going on in the off season, because I know you participated a lot in whether it's memorial tournaments or fundraising tournaments and all. And so definitely wanted to get into that. And the thing I like about that tournament is it's such a great feeling. I mean, of course, without fail, for the families, for the friends, for everybody to show up. That's absolutely why we're doing it, right? To show our support. And but even for us, man, as much as we play ball, to be able to see all the teams that came out and know the reason why we're there, it's so cool, man. And it's just an awesome thing to be able to do, especially through our softball community, to show our support for the family and friends of these officers that have fallen. So awesome, man.
And one other tournament I went out and played. I went and played in the it was like an all forces tournament out in Vegas in December, where it's military, fire, police. I played with FKA, which is a military team / police team out of Missouri, and a few of the Missouri lawmen you can see in that picture there. We ended up finishing 3-3. It was a great time. There was several police softball players throughout the tournament. There's Camper there. He was playing with a team out of Ohio. They did really well. I think they went to the IF game where they ended up losing. I think they took second place, but they did a great tournament. Madsen from Utah Metro, he was there. You had Tyler from Canada, he was there. Got the samples from more Canadian. He brought some of those Canadian beverages he likes to bring down with him, and we got to sample those, which was awesome.
How about the ketchup chips?
Yeah. It was an awesome tournament, and great weather, great time, and there was a lot of people, familiar faces. But just a good overall tournament. So
yeah, very cool, very cool. So we got Anthony. Stanzo showing up. What's going on, man? And Stu says to bring the food to the PD and tell the officers they can eat if they subscribe. Dude, I'll help you out with that. I'll fund it. Let's make it happen.
Food get you every time, man.
I was just going to say, Stu would come up with that idea. Not challenge coins, not patches, but food. That makes sense. Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, hey, listen, that's great that you participated and got to, keep those swings going and for good causes throughout the off season. So what we got is we've got a segment, man. There's a lot of movement. That's what these show's about, the team movement, the player movement. But one of the things that we thought, Joe, when we started this was, how can we bring to light what these officers or who these officers are off the field, not just on the field? We see them compete against them, talk here and there in the stands, but ultimately, get a little more into who they are and what they do in their own time just to get to know them. So we got a new segment. It's a player spotlight segment. You like that? So that's our new segment. And we highlighted somebody that came from a move in the offseason that has something to do with you, Joe. So let's roll that video and check it out. What's going on, man?
Not much. How you doing, man? Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, happy to have you. Not just to the team, but also to the circuit. Heard nothing but great things about you. And so I'm excited to be able to, share the field, but then also, of course, off the field. And that's kind of the purpose of this segment. So Vladimir Gomez has been in law enforcement for 2 years. Was it law enforcement or it's corrections, right? It's law enforcement, but into the corrections field?
Yes, I'm a parole officer, actually.
All right. Yeah. So parole officer, Arkansas Department of Corrections. 1 year on the police softball circuit, and his first year he played with the Oklahoma Outlaws over there with Justin and the guys. What were your thoughts being a baseball player and somebody saying, "Hey, man, you want to play some softball?" What were your initial thoughts?
At the beginning, I was like, "Oh, it's no way I'm doing that," But then, a good friend of mine, Jose Hernandez, he just kept pushing till I was like, you know what, I'm gonna come out and give it a try. And it was just like love at first sight kind of deal. So now I park every other weekend.
Obviously, you played some civilian ball. How long have you been playing civilian ball?
I'll say about 4 years.
So you just came to the police circuit, man. What were your impressions when somebody said, "Hey, man, come play in this police circuit"? What were you thinking? To begin off, off the top, I wanted big thanks to, Justin Bill for, introducing me to the police circuit. Because if it wasn't for him, I would have never found out about the police circuit. Because I was just, playing local stuff down here in Arkansas. So when I think it was a conference event we was at, so when I played with JNR, Bill's pretty good friends with my old coach. He came over to the dugout and asked him, I was like, "Hey, you know anybody, back home that, it's in the law enforcement and can play in your team?" And then that's how we met. We got introduced, and it's like, "Hey, man, this is what we got going on. You want to come on?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know about this stuff. Sign me up." What was your feeling once you started playing police softball? You saw the circuit. What stood out to you about the circuit?
What really stood out to me is just the fact, you out there and between the lines, you competing against each other. You want to get the best out of your teammates and the people you're playing against. But really, after the game, the brotherhood that is everybody's around, sit around and hang, get to know people, talk to people. People tell you their stories, you tell them yours, and it's just you making lifelong friends just because of the police circuit.
People might see you and think man, this dude, all he does is live in a uniform, play ball. But got a little picture here of something you like to do in your off time. And this one was really pretty cool, man. I saw you and your buddies. Let's see here.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, sir.
So you're an outdoorsman, eh?
100%.
Yeah, man. So what kind of things do you do in the outdoors in your own time?
We go hunting every other weekend. We just plan trips. We either go duck hunting, go deer hunting, and just even if we don't go kill anything, we just happy to be out there and enjoying each other's company.
Yeah. Tell us about this one, Vlad.
Oh, so
in the archery, huh?
So first year, I've been trying to like the hardest to like get a bow and start bow hunting, because everybody says it's hard. It's like the real deal. The rush is just great. So I finally got me a bow, and then set up in my backyard, and I've just been working on my 10-yard, 25 yards.
Well, did anything good come out of this?
Oh Lord.
Anything good come out of that?
Oh man, that's way back. I'll say that's 2012.
Man, son, you got no body fat and fresh breath.
That's 2012.
I know there's an inside story to that one, and I can't wait to hear it. We've got a picture like that of one of the guys on our team, which you obviously are going to meet at some point. But we have a picture of him in a hotel room, and he's got his feet up, and we've got like foot powder, and we've got somewhere. We're sending him a message, letting him know, dude, you need to take care of your feet, man, because they look bad and they smell bad, and you need to do something because you're going to be sharing rooms with the guys. You can't be showing up like this.
That's crazy. That was great. That was a good one. You got me on that one. I was not expecting that one.
All right, so when it comes to you got this year, we had Oklahoma and Missouri that ended up joining up and left Arkansas out of the two-state rule for police softball. And so that being said, we're very fortunate as a team to be able to be made aware of you and Alex Ford. We're going to be highlighting Alex at some point here in the future podcast. So this year, we're really happy to be able to pick you guys up. Again, not just for your talents, but also for your personality. That's just as important to me when it comes to a successful team. But Vlad is repping Onyx this year. So we love the guys out at Elite. Carlos, Ryan, congratulations, Ryan, on the new addition to the family.
Yes,
Carlos
sir.
has been nothing but great to us, especially with our Keepers of the Peace tournament. But he supports me personally. And it was really cool, man, that when we talked, you told me that Keepers of the Peace bat was pretty hot when you broke it out. We had that picture that we have.
Ooh.
And I was pretty good,
sir.
man. I appreciate
Yes,
you mentioning that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Awesome.
man. I appreciate it, man. And a big shout out again to Elite Sports. We're going to be calling them up here soon to get some accessories for our team. A couple of quick questions before we let you go. First one is I wanted to know, what's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie, I'll have to go with Shooter.
Shooter? Which one's that one?
It's with what's his name? Wahlberg.
Oh yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
That guy.
Yeah, I need to see that one. I think I remember. I think I know that one.
So
all right.
That movie is like, I can watch that movie probably 15 times and won't get tired of it. I just loved it.
What animal would you be if you could be an animal, and why?
A lion. I'll definitely say a lion. King of the jungle.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I like that. Confidence. You want to be in control, but at the same time, you want to help the pack.
There you go. Lead everybody, the right way. Be a leader.
If you had a chance to pick a superpower, which one would you want?
That's a tough one. I say healing. Be able to heal people. If you got a bad leg, you can't walk. Like, I would rather have that power.
That's cool, man. It's a good answer. If you got to choose a song that would play every time you entered a room, what song would you pick and why?
This would be a hard one for you guys to understand, but maybe you can look it up and find it. It's called Las Avispas by Juan Luis Guerra. It's Hispanic. It's a Dominican song. It's called merengue. So it's like a gospel kind of song. So basically the song, what it's talking about is just like, the enemy, throwing stuff at you. But if you're walking with the Lord, all that stuff is just going away. So that'll be the song.
Nice. Can you sing just one little verse? Just one little one, man. Just one little bar. Come on. Make it happen, Vlad. Come on, baby.
Oh, man.
Just one little one. Just one little bar.
So it goes, Jesús me dijo que me riera mi padre en la nevera. Hey, Jesús me dijo que me riera si el enemigo me tiene en la carrera.
Damn, all right. We're gonna have a good time, man. I'm telling you. The guys are going to have a really good time.
Hey, it's going to be fun. I can't wait. It's going to be fun.
That's going to be good. What do you think, Joe?
I think that guy's awesome, man. I tell you what, man, Vlad he's a ball of energy, man. He's like a team hype man. You don't find many guys with that type of constant energy that's out there on the field like him. I've seen him play a bunch, and he's got a lot of talent as well, which is awesome. You guys got a huge pickup right there, man.
Yeah, man, I'm really excited about both of them. And like I said, new segment highlighting these new players to the circuit. And I think it's going to be really cool when Alex is, we highlight Alex also, Alex Ford. It's going to be really neat. And so,
you gonna have everybody sing a song like that?
I'm going to go for that. Hey, that told me right there.
He did a good job, man. He did a good job. Better than I could have done.
Well, I'll tell you, in all fairness, because I know he's going to watch this, the music was generic music because we didn't want to get a strike on YouTube. So he wasn't off key. He wasn't out of, out of rhythm. It was just, we had to add the song with his singing. He actually did it a cappella. So that was pretty impressive.
No, he's quite the character, man. You're going to like him.
I'm excited, man. That's important, man, especially when you're down, maybe not having a great tournament as a team, man, to be able to have fun in there and be able to hey, man, let's go. Let's not give in. And ultimately we bounce back, and you can tell that that's the type of personality he has. And it's a great pickup. And from when I'm talking to Alex, it's the same thing. So 2 big pickups for us. So awesome, man. Thank you guys.
Sure. Yep.
All right, man. So that was our player spotlight. Now we're going to move on to our other taped segment of the show where we had Steve. So we have Steve Rathall and Justin Witt that joined Joe and I on Sunday, actually, during the Chiefs game. So that was pretty cool that they gave their time up. We've got that here, and this is all about moving players, the pickups, the combo teams, a little insight in that area. We had Jeff Blair had a recorded clip. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get that to work tonight. We'll have to see. But he'll come up after this recorded segment of the show. But I think it's interesting. A lot of good conversation, Joe, on that, and I think it's going to be a good one. Anything to add to it, or you want to roll to it?
Let's roll.
Cool. Let's do it, Deanna. We're here on Sunday, January the 30th. Obviously, this part's going to be pre-recorded. But, man, I'm glad you guys joined us. Got Steve, Justin, Joe. And I'm excited, man, to be able to talk about what's been going on with this year. The off season, if you will, is over, and we are here now, ready to go. Everybody's excited. Everybody's got a lot of information from teams. Got teams and player movement and all kinds of stuff going on in the circuit. So, hey, man, I'm excited to be able to talk about it. There's a lot of people who are new to this circuit, man, either new or been here for just maybe a year. They'll be tuning in for the first time on this particular podcast. So what we're going to do is just kind of cover some of the things that have happened throughout that off season. And I'm going to let my partner in crime, Joe, take the lead. Joe, where are we headed with this?
Well, Trini, first, did we already introduce Steve and Witt? I'm sure everyone already knows who both those guys are. They've been on here numerous times and been around the circuit for years. But anyway, the reason that they're on here is because they've been involved with some of the movement in the off season, and their teams or themselves, and I think myself and you included, we have some moves in Texas and in the Midwest, Missouri, stuff like that. There's been a lot of talk on the website. The Stoolie's been chirping. And I'm sure you guys have all read about that. But some of the stuff is accurate.
Is the COVID clown going to be on, or is it just now the Stoolie and that's it?
The COVID clown is no more. There's no more.
COVID clown was unmasked and will not come back, is what I'm told. But yeah, the Stoolie's been chirping, and some of the stuff is accurate. Some of it's is not. But I don't know. I figured that maybe we talk about, if you want to talk about, we'll talk about the Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas kind of thing first. If you want to do that.
Man, that's not a problem at all. But even before we go there, you guys don't recognize anyone in my frame?
How's that thing not rotten, man?
I'm telling you, man. He is surviving. That's a survivor right there. That is the Waxahachie pumpkin. For those of you that are not familiar, this dude has made it all year long. He's back with us again in 2022. I can't believe it, man. So
there's no way that thing is not rotten. Is that I mean, it's got to be. Those things don't last that long, man. You keep it in the freezer or something?
it's crazy, man. No, he's just been hanging out with me here in the room.
Something's up with that. I don't know.
All right.
Obviously, there's been some talk about the Missouri-Oklahoma combo and back up again. We were together back 2 years ago, and then the Oklahoma portion of the Missouri Lawmen split off, started their own team. They finished fifth in gold in Vegas, and some of the guys on their team wanted a bigger, more involved schedule, maybe 6-7 games, and others could only commit to a couple tournaments. We had some issues with Missouri last year where basically Steve can vouch for this. He was in the dugout for the last game, but we finished our last game in the World Series with 9 guys. So, I mean, we only had 10 out there. So we struggled to get guys to tournaments last year. So I think it's a good, bringing Oklahoma back with Missouri, I think is going to be a good merger. Beal and a couple other guys, Chris Ellison and Cody Johnson, both from Oklahoma, also coming on board. We also added younger guys born in the 90s, which I told a lot of people. It's weird looking at the roster and you got 8 guys that are born in the 90s. I got one guy from 97, 94, 95. It's like, what the hell's going on? But, times are changing, but it's a good thing, I think. Bring some youth on, and these guys got a lot of experience, and I think it's going to be a good year for us.
Man, you're a hell of a not only just coach, but I mean a great organizer of the team. You do a lot of fundraising, have a lot of fundraising efforts. Justin has a lot of experience on the circuit, and I think it's, man, when you guys combo like that, I'm really excited because it allows Justin Beal to get more involved with his aspect of the playing, and you will take a brunt of that, I'm sure, of the coaching and managing responsibility. So that's going to be cool for him to be able to, take a back seat, concentrate on playing. And then the guys you added from Oklahoma, man, that team all around I was excited to see him for the next couple of years, but that's a good merger, man.
And hopefully the hostile takeover goes well. And that's what Jeff called it online, I think. Oklahoma was made up of guys from both Oklahoma and Arkansas. So that left a couple guys from Arkansas looking to jump on a team, and you had some conversations. So if you want to talk about them.
Yeah, for sure. So we were very fortunate with that, with the 2-state rule. Arkansas was kind of out there, and we were able to pick up Alex Ford, one of the pitchers from the Oklahoma guys with their team last year. Did a great job in Waxahachie, and loved their personalities, man. Alex Ford and Vladimir Gomez. Vlad, we just you saw him earlier in the show because we did a little taping with him to get to know him. He's new to the circuit, played last year, his first year, and guy's an outfielder, but played shortstop for Oklahoma. So it was 2 big pickups, man. Pitcher and a guy that's flexible when it comes to the outfield and infield. I'm really excited. Played some college ball also, so it's a great merger, great pickup.
Those 2 guys that played for Oklahoma last year were two of the top guys on that team. And, you're getting guys that are, in key positions with pitcher, and then the guy that can flex from, shortstop, middle infield to outfield. I think that's those 2 guys I think are going to be huge pickups for you there, especially after, there was some talk on the website about, you losing a few guys after the World Series last year, and to be able to replace some guys with guys with experience at these key positions is going to be huge for you, man.
When you talk about the player movement and all, it's just so many different reasons. Sometimes it's you don't play enough. Sometimes, people may not be putting in the same amount of work, whatever it is that comes up, this kind of stuff happens. But man, for me, that biggest thing is what's their personality like, not just their talent on the field. And I'm really excited for these 2 guys because they're good guys to pick up.
Steve, so obviously you're on here for a reason. Not only are you good looking and you're great conversation, but you're also involved in some movements out west. So you had played for Nitro the last couple seasons, and this year you picked up with a new team. And I don't know if you want to talk to us about that and maybe your thoughts about why you chose to join up with that team, and maybe some of the players that they picked up.
Razorbacks, I think, has a fairly lengthy history within the circuit, going back with Big Tone. And I'd always heard of them, but didn't really know much about them. When I decided to part ways with Nitro, quite a few people hit me up about the Razorbacks, actually, Tyson Becker being one of them. He had a lot of really good things to say about them. Big Tone reached out, and ultimately the coach. We had a pretty good conversation about what they planned on doing, the tournaments they planned on playing, and just kind of like the outlook of what they had going forward. They had a lot of young talent, former ball players and so on and so forth, who were just kind of, getting, accustomed to playing softball. We all know that picking up those baseball players, there's usually a little bit of an adjustment period, but the talent is typically there. It just seemed like a good fit. California, as you can imagine, and you guys have seen, is an interesting landscape in terms of the teams and the movement each year. And typically each year in California, you have the shuffle up and deal, thing happening more often than not. I don't think this year's really any different, right? Like there's some big names allegedly coming back to DEA with, I think, Yuli's, I guess, confirmed, and maybe Tommy Hayes. State 48's making some big noise with some of the people that they picked up, and I think they were like a surprising up-and-coming team last year. I think they're getting a lot of comparisons to, the old Battleborn team, where they have a lot of talent and the ability to play with some of the big boys. I think there's a couple other teams that comboed up. I think it was San Diego and
Shot callers.
That could be a team to watch as well. But with, a talent-rich state like California, you never know. The state has the ability to produce a lot of talent, similar to, like, in my opinion, a Texas or a Florida.
So I think we're going to continue rolling this. We had to upload it, but we had to upload it in sections. So we'll keep it rolling, Deanna.
So adding a couple things on to what you just mentioned, but that you talked about the new team, the California Classic Sports combo with shot callers, Silver Stars. They got some leaders from both those two teams that put this team together, and it looks like that they picked up Stiver, maybe coming back and playing in the circuit. He's been out for a little while. He's going to be playing with them supposedly, and Eric Harriman as well. So I think that's going to be a pretty solid team. Sounds like Razorback's going to be solid. The brought up State 48 also, that they signed a couple U-Trip conference players. So I don't know what their commitment levels are going to be, but they're also talk about Jason Brennan and Matt Fox. They talked about that online, that they may be jumping ship from DEA heading there. I don't know if that's just BS talk or if that's legit or not. I haven't been able to verify that yet. Maybe by Wednesday when this airs, we'll be able to verify it. But Whit, I don't know if you know anything, because I know you were just playing with some of those guys out west. Have you heard anything about any of that movement out there with the guys from DEA and State 48 and all that?
No, I think that it'll be pretty consistent. I don't see those guys with DEA leaving. I think there's always going to be noise as they add people in Arizona and State 48. But I don't think they're going to leave DEA. It's
like just shuffling cards every year out there West Coast. And I think this year it's kind of been not just a West Coast thing. I think it's been nationwide, really. I mean, this year more than any other year that I can remember, and that means when me and Steve were talking that he can remember, that, the East Coast and the Midwest, there's a lot of shuffling going on nationwide with these teams and stuff. And I think there's a bunch of different reasons why that's happening. And we brought up that, maybe there's a lot of younger guys now, and some of the older guys that are getting maybe not pushed out, but not getting as much playing time, want to play more. So they're sliding over to another team, or maybe the leadership's just not there. And so new teams are being formed and stuff like that. But for whatever reason, it's happening. And there's a lot of it going on all across the country this year.
Joe, on that note, Justin, JT Duckett plays on y'all's team now, or plays with y'all's team?
Devin Luckett.
Is that it's not JT, it's Devin?
Devin.
Devin Luckett.
And this guy, and he is a new guy to the circuit, right?
This will be so. Devin's been with me for 2 years.
From what I understand, he's a newer player on the circuit. Guy's outstanding player. And one of the things we did, obviously, with the earlier part of the broadcast is we introduced a new player to the circuit that happened to be coming to our team from Arkansas. And I definitely want to interview him too, man, get his opinion on it. And from what I understand, man, he's a lights out player.
Trini, just don't call him TJ Duckett when you get him on the show, man.
Okay. I don't know who got me that information, but that's the information I got.
It
So
rhymes. So that's close. With Ohio lawmen / the Shield folding this year, and some of their players being picked up by multiple different teams, with your Louisville team, Thin Blue Line, and Kentucky Blue. I don't know if you want to talk about that. If you got some information on the players that you guys are picking up and the direction your team is going.
Yeah, so we kind of faced the same thing. And Joe, you know this firsthand. We picked you up and a couple of your guys last year you played with us in Tampa, and then you and another went with us to Myrtle Beach. And then even we came to St. Louis with like 9 and picked up some guy that you found at a gas station in Louisville right now. You know, it's hard to get off work, you know, and to get everybody off work. And with us being from mainly one team, it was hard, you know, we were looking at civil unrest and all of these things, and guys they couldn't get off work between work, family, and all of these things. So also, man, I think the answer to your question, you said this earlier, about why there's so much movement. Man, everybody's just chasing the Bronny effect, right? You know, Bronny comes out and signs 20 conference guys, and you know, and they just beat up on everybody, win this thing every year. You know, so everybody's trying to crack that code. I'm trying with Bourbon. I bribe him on the regular. See, me and Bobby McGee had talked. You know, they were trying to decide whether or not they were going to whether they were going to stick it out with the Shield, if they were going to do something else. And you know, softball, police softball, probably more than civilian softball, man, there are vultures out here. So Devin is a great ball player, you know, and he's got his Louisville Slugger thing where, you know, he's sponsored by them, and, you know, he's playing some conference ball. Me and Devin played college baseball together, you know, so I was a senior when he was a freshman, and that's kind of how we knew. I got him on the police department. And I mean, that guy, his phone was ringing off the hook with, man, do you want to come play here? Do you want to come play there? Do you want to do this? And I said, man, just hold on. Give me some time. We're going to kind of build this thing organically around you and some of our newer pieces. So it kind of matched up with Bobby that we bring over JU. You know, Ullery to pitch. You know, we grabbed Butch. You know, Butch has been on the circuit for a long time, you know, and is a hitter. Dusty, funny enough, you know, Dusty's probably one of the most controversial guys out here just because he left law enforcement. And I laughed with the JB when I picked him up. You know, Joe, you were a part of this years ago. We voted on Dusty and whether on the competition committee and whether or not Dusty was going to be able to play. And I said, man, I'm playing chess, not checkers. 4 years ago, I voted for Dusty and was the final vote to get him on the circuit. I had to wait 4 years to pick him up, so you guys didn't know what was going on.
Now it all makes sense.
Yeah, it all had to come together. But yeah, we pick up Dusty and Swinford, their center fielder, Jake, their shortstop, you know. So, and then we got lucky, right, with Travis from Chicago Metro. He's an Indiana guy. He had wanted to play with them for a while, so he jumped over too, and we picked him up. He's a former defensive player of the year. We picked up a bunch of guys, and you know, some of the Louisville guys were they got a lot of wisdom. They're old, so they're good at coming to the tournaments and being a part of it. So yeah, we're good. The rest of the Shield, so you know, Minky and those guys, they go up to Thin Blue Line. They're gonna strengthen Thin Blue Line a lot. You know, Thin Blue Line was already one of those teams that kept climbing and climbing. Jimmy Smith does a great job every year. You know, and him and Joel, they keep raising that bar, and now they pick up those guys. Kentucky Blue, you know, they pick up Dawson. who plays a lot of conference ball. I don't know what his commitment will be to them, but, you know, he'll be there for Vegas for sure. There will be a lot of competition between you guys with Oklahoma, Kentucky Blue, who came on a lot last year and, you know, is going to be strong. We'll try to mix in there and see what we got. But, you know, who knows? But I think that it was definitely good for a lot of teams in this region. It'll be interesting to kind of see how it shakes out.
So there was a couple rumors at the end of last year. Obviously, one of them isn't true, and that was that Devin was going to be picked up by another team and leave. But obviously, you guys changed your direction with your team, and he's staying with you guys. And there was also another thing I heard about you guys possibly picking up a guy that Devin knew from. He plays U-Trip's conference ball. I don't know if that ended up happening or you guys ended up picking him up.
Yeah, so there'll be some surprises.
Okay. I didn't know if I could talk about it, but I heard this may happen. I heard that last October at the World Series, so I didn't know if that was legit or not. So
yeah, there'll be some surprises. You know, Devin's got his kind of finger on the pulse of things. He wants to compete. I'll tell you this, Devin ain't going anywhere. I'm the godfather to his kid. He ain't going anywhere. He does get a lot of those phone calls as far as the other guys. So, yeah, one guy, conference guy, graduated to the academy soon. So we'll mix him in throughout the year. The other one just got hired. So but because of his conference schedule, he's going to push off the academy for a little bit. So he won't be able to play with us this year.
Time out. There's someone that's pushing a job for conference softball.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. He was on Team USA this year. He ended up winning the MVP at the A World, you know, a few years ago. I mean, he's good. He's a player. But I give him stuff all the time. I'm like, man, you're pushing off your career to be really good at softball for this amount of time.
What do you have? You have somebody in your academy or something? Like, Jesus, man, we don't have anybody in there that can tell us. I'm considering just showing up once a week at every academy and just like, hey, man, who plays ball at in-service? Anybody here play ball? Yeah, here's my card.
Just get everybody outside and hit a ball at them. See what they do.
Kentucky, there's like a population of 50.
We've been fortunate that you know, we have a guy that's at the academy as a sergeant over there. He's me.
It so happens.
So yeah, I'm assigned to the academy. So
that makes sense. God damn it.
So hey, Trini, I think to catch on at Wits Department, there's the written, the oral, and then there's the skills competition.
It might be written, oral, and oral. I don't know.
The guy that I talked about before, he's not with our department. You know, he's with state police. You know, Camper, whenever you see this and you reach out to the state police guys, don't try. It's okay. We got him.
It sounds like you're bringing on an entirely new team. So what happens with the guys that you had last year, a couple of years ago? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think your opposition to the free agent waiver wire was that it would destroy homegrown teams like you and family-feeling teams, but you're bringing on an entire new team. So what's up with the other people?
We've done this before, right? We joined up with Kentucky Blue a few years ago. It didn't work out. We carried 20 people on a roster. I don't know how Bronny does it, but we're going to try it again, you know, to carry these guys. But Joe will tell you, you know, a lot of my guys, they're good with coming out and getting 2, 3, 4 at bats. You know, they just want to be a part of it. They're not coming out here to play, you know, nor can they at this point. We'll be wheeling them out on a wheelchair to get on the plane if that's the case. And they know that. So we went to St. Louis and we picked up a couple guys, and Trini, we played you guys in that melee. It was about 38 to 37. I had guys falling out. The average age of one of my players in St. Louis was 48. And we got Devin, who's 20-something. We had another guy that was 20-something. You know, I'm in my mid-30s. 48 was our average guy. Our infielders were all 50. So that's just where we're at now. I mean, our guys been playing for 15, 16, 17 years on the circuit, and it was either adapt or
die.
pick up every tournament.
Whit, I want to say something. That game that you guys played in St. Louis, shorthanded with your 70-year-old teammates, that was one of the most exciting games of the tournament with you and Trini. You guys put up almost 80 runs combined, and it was back and forth the entire game. That was an exciting game, man. It wore you guys out, but it was an exciting game.
Yeah, I was going to say that's tough, man, because if you don't have if you had let's just say you had your dream and you had, 18 young guys all competitive, well, then the problem comes in. They all want playing time. They're competitive. They want to get out there. So I when you have a good mix of guys who've been in it for a while and understand, like, all right, man, my time is coming. I need to save my legs. I can definitely come in and do some things here and there. But hey, let's let these new guys come in for the betterment of the future of the team. That's the key, man. If you can do that, because you get too many guys that are too young, and then, man, there's going to be issues.
You need that veteran leadership on the squad, man. I really do think that is a huge part of a successful team. We got Joe Custer coming back this year.
All right, good for you guys.
He didn't play with us last year, but he's coming back. Kind of more of a leadership role to help out with these younger guys that we picked up and everything. And I think just having him there is going to be huge. I mean, the guy's U-Trip, ASA, Police Softball Hall of Famer. The guy's been there and done that with everything. So I think just having him there is going to be huge. The one thing we really didn't talk about was the Florida movement.
What happened?
Kansas City, 14-3. Here we go.
Travis Kelce with the touchdown to go up 10 on.
You got to watch him. He's back there doing his dance again.
Steve is obviously a Chiefs fan. If you look at his shirt, I don't know who you're rooting for. Whit, I don't know if are you a Cincy fan? He just left. The mouse stopped. There's a lot of teams in Florida, and there's been a lot of movement over the last few years down there. And there's a new team forming, the Gulf Coast Enforcers. They're going to be more like a gold level team. But Ryan Register is involved with that team, along with a couple other guys from North Florida and South Florida, and they've got a bunch of younger talent, college ball players that they're putting together with this team. There's a lot of good young talent down there, like Miami 5-0, the Dogs, South Florida now, North Florida, and then now Gulf Coast and a couple other teams. There's too much young talent and for not enough teams, and I think that's why these new teams are forming down there. And I think it's a good thing. And I think in maybe 3, 4, 5 years down the line, I think this young talent with college ball players is really going to it's really going to show, and these teams it's going to be a lot of firepower coming out of Florida in about 4 or 5 years, I think.
Here's what I'll say is South Florida picked up one of our guys from Louisville, so he moved down to the Tampa area. Michael Fowl is his name. He was going to be with Devin, one of our young kids that was kind of coming on, and he took a job down in Tampa, and man, he ended up playing first base for them during their World Series run last year. He got hurt, later in the tournament, but man, I'm excited for Brandon West and those guys down there. I think that they're going to end up doing special things for sure.
Brandon put together a nice young team with some good veteran leadership on it, and it showed last year with that second place finish.
No, they won it.
Oh, they won it. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, Brandon, if you're watching. I forgot you won that tournament. They were getting moved up to mid-majors next year. What he's doing down there is working out, and I think Ryan's kind of doing the same thing over there with this new Gulf Coast Enforcers squad that they put together. That's going to be new to the circuit this year.
Is it just me, or you guys don't see Brandon? Like I'm waiting for him to come out in some superhero movie. He's just got that jaw. He's got all that, man. Just that superhero look to him, man. He needs to be in the movie, as far as I'm concerned.
He's a Greek god. That's what he is.
That he is.
It's guys like that if you ever had to fight him, you'd be like, I don't need to even waste time hitting him in the jaw. I got to find somewhere else to go, because that freaking mug can take some shots. I guarantee you.
But don't let Brandon fool you. Brandon is he's also the lieutenant of his academy, which is 4 times as big as our department. So don't let him fool you.
Yeah.
The key is to get into these academies.
I guess so. I'm gonna have to work something out here. I knew it was the key, but now I'm hearing it. So I think I'm kidding. I'm making a note.
To me, there was more movement in the circuit as a whole than there has been in recent years. Like we talked about, and I already mentioned, but is the West Coast? It's a annual thing, but this year seemed to be more on the national level.
On the note of all the movement, you got team movement, you got player movement. Everybody asks, man, what's going on over there? Or man, it seems to be a lot of movement over here. Sometimes it's hard as a manager to not take it personally, right? Because you want everybody to stay together. You want everyone to have a good time. That's all about the camaraderie. You do want to win, but at the same time, different issues come up. Sometimes it's a personality issue where it's just like, they don't jive with the chemistry of what's going on here. Or maybe they put a priority on the playing and not a priority on the hanging out, which is important to certain teams. So other teams might just be all about the championship. But how do you guys deal with it? For those of you that run the teams, how do you deal with it? I feel like I already go into it knowing that if somebody comes over, it's going to be 2 to 3 years before they, if they present themselves as the type of person that is here for the camaraderie and all about the team first, you can kind of see signs in the first year, but usually second, at a minimum third. And it's like, I'm sorry, the maximum, the third year. We're all adults. Life happens, kids, sports, need more playing time. I've learned over time to not take it personally, to just realize things just happen. Sometimes situations come up and it needs to be able to filter out. But how do you handle it, Joe?
Well, I think number one, nobody should take anything personal. With my team, like for instance, this year, so Kevin Trott's been our shortstop for the last 12 years. This year, we've already made a decision. I already made a decision. He's not playing shortstop. He's going to first base. So, what was that?
I'm going to text him.
Oh, he already knows that. We've talked about this for months. But you got to go about it a certain way. I think you can't just say, "Hey, listen, you're not." You got to ease your way into it sometimes, especially with a guy who's played shortstop his entire life. He's played, through baseball and everything else. Things happen, and guys get older, and you get a younger guy that comes in, and it just makes sense for the team. And as long as everyone's on the same page and everyone's got the same end goal and everyone's in it for the team and not for themselves. Everything, maybe I'm wrong about making this call and moving him to first and moving someone else into his spot over there short. I could be wrong, and we'll find out if I'm wrong or right, but that's the way it's going to be. And as long as everyone's got that mentality going in that, hey, we're doing this for the team, for the betterment of the team, then I think it all works out in the end. And if there's guys that don't have that attitude, that are gonna be like, fuck that, I'm a shortstop, I'm either playing short. That'll weed itself. That stuff will weed itself out as well. If that's the case, he's probably not going to be playing on the team anymore.
Joe, what I like about what you're saying is if the guys have been around, think about it. Your favorite number, your favorite position, that means something to you, man. That's a pride thing. It's your home base. It's what you're used to, and then you got to switch it up, and it takes a little bit. It's a bit of a sting, but in the end, guys like that typically can see where we're headed, and you don't want to wait till you can't move anymore. You want to give somebody and you want to experience that as a successful team. Hey, dude, go over there. Let this young cat go in there. Worst case scenarios, he can't handle it. We move you back. But at least you're filling a position that's going to be the betterment of the team. You want to be around. We want you around, obviously. So, let's try this out.
When you know somebody for that long, you got a good idea how you got to approach them in this specific situation. And I approached him the way I thought I needed to, and it all worked out. He's looking forward to playing first base. I think he's going to be one of the best defensive first basemen in the circuit. The guy's got a great glove, and to just have over at first and not need to have as much range over there, I think it's going to be a big thing for him.
The other part of that is you look at him having his legs throughout the whole tournament, his stick throughout the whole tournament. He's doing less diving, less moving, and now he's just going to be even more effective when it comes to his hitting and his hustling.
Because we want him in the lineup, and he's missed portions of the last 2 seasons because he hasn't been in the lineup because he's been injured for one reason or another. And this will be give us a better chance to keep him in the lineup. His bat's huge. So.
Oh yeah, Justin.
Yeah, let me go back to one thing, and then I'll hit that. All these new players coming on the circuit and everything. I will give a shout out to Kentucky Blue On. Man, Matty Marksberry will come back this year for them, and he will be huge for them. They're picking up players, here and there, but man, Maddie's a baller. And he's kind of their glue. There's not a better dude out there than that guy. He shows up to play. He takes it serious. He doesn't drink while he plays. So I just wanted to say that. As far as the other, man, I had a real conversation with every one of my guys. I said, hey, listen, I may be wrong, but this is the direction that I'm thinking about going. We're having to pick up every weekend. It's a lot of money to travel these tournaments. I run the team, but I'm pretty diplomatic about it, and I told the guys, hey, listen, realize this is going to take a bats from some of you who have never sat for me. Those of you who are used to playing all the time, you might have to move a position for the betterment. But ultimately, it's going to be fun to be a part of it, because whenever we show up, whenever we come to these tournaments, we have a great time just being around each other. It's going to be fun to show some of these guys that we can win, and they're going to compete to play. I told Bobby, the Shield guys coming over, you're not going to walk into just a guaranteed spot. There's some of my young guys that, man, they've been hitting since we quit Vegas. They expect to play. So we're going to have some competition between 13, 14 guys to get on the field. So I'm excited for it.
Steve, got any input on that?
Obviously, I'm a player. I've never run a team on the police circuit, but I've run civilian teams. I think Whit is right, and Joe to a certain extent too, with the communication. I learned a lesson when I was running a civvy team that, I was traveling somewhere and I knew a guy wasn't going to play as much as he maybe thought he was going to. And by not telling him ahead of time, caused some drama at the field. Like, he reacted extremely poorly, and it caused kind of a bad situation. So that was something that I learned, that, like, in my opinion, 100% communication with everybody is key. The second thing they talked about was, and maybe in the case of Trotter with Joe, moving over to first, and, just give you a hard time about that. Now, I do wonder where Andy, but I digress.
And Andy's still going to be in the lineup. Don't worry about that.
I'm sure he is, but so no, I mean, just thinking about the first time that happened to me, I had been accustomed to, pitching pretty much every inning that I had played in my softball career. I would say prior to 2014. I like to bring this up with Joe just about as often as I can, but when we won it all in 2014, I remember they called me a couple months before the series, and so we picked up Keith Habig, who's, multiple World Series champion, great talent, so on and so forth. And they told me straight up, like, hey, you're going to be splitting time with him. That took a little bit of an adjustment for me, but, it worked out, and that seemed to be, a great combination and for the betterment of that team. But if everybody buys into that and it's for the betterment of the team, you really can't go wrong. But you really have to have, in my opinion, everybody on that page, because even one person can kind of throw off that chemistry. And then you have to start evaluating, is that one person talent-wise worth whatever detriment it might be to the team?
100%. 100. And I think that's a great way to round it up, because you get one person and then they start chattering, and then they go off on their own, and then they start planting things, and it kind of works against what it is that you're trying to do when you build that. What happens off the field, it's just as important as what happens on the field. And so I think that's a great point.
Honestly, I think that's how teams start fracturing, right? DEA had a pretty decent split a couple years after that, where it's like a couple people maybe thought, maybe we should do it this way or that way. And then you have a handful of people leave because they've been talking behind the scenes. And it's just, like I said, typically it was a California thing. And Whit, Joe and I were talking about this beforehand. The Midwest and East Coast would always bomb on us on the message board about how California was always changing and had all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. It's interesting to see, the shoe on the other foot. It almost seems as if there's more movement in the Midwest and the East Coast than there was on the West Coast this year.
It's a one-time move, about some of those.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Now you're talking about when you break up a team like Ohio, that's, a cornerstone of the East Coast or Midwest, and then they go, to different teams. Let's play devil's advocate here. Maybe that doesn't work out personality for the first year. Now you're going to start seeing, we tried this at Louisville, or we tried this at Thin Blue Line. Oh, well, now other people get in their ears, and you might not have the, 25 year history of the Ohio lawmen, kind of holding you to that. So you say the thing, but I'd be interested to see what happens next offseason, because not everybody can win. And if you're not the team that wins, then people start talking about, hey, how are we going to, get on that team that wins? That's another touchdown by Kansas City, by the way. If you're tracking at home, that's going to be after they 21-3. So all those people that thought Joey Burrow was there to, take over Mr. Mahomes, maybe think again. I know it's early. There's two halves.
Let me ask you this, Steve, just real quick. You're in California.
Yeah, unfortunately.
How does Bronny do it every year? With 20 guys.
Yeah.
But 20 very talented guys, right? I mean, so we're talking about being able to make things work. I mean, most of those guys could go start for a lot of the teams in California.
I mean, I would say I don't know, because I'm not part of those conversations or equations. I do know that over the years, if you looked at championship rosters, how many of those are the same players? There's a handful, but there seems to be there was a lot of new faces last year.
A lot of turnover. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think that comes from what you're saying, right? I think that there's expectations maybe going into the series of, hey, I'm going to play, I'm not, or I don't know if all 18 or 20 are expecting to play, start, what have you. But, after you win, then maybe you start evaluating hey, I would like to play somewhere or start somewhere else. And then that kind of turnover happens. Roddy's a good dude. I think a lot of people like playing for him. I think that's part of it. He runs a good team. He's a good leader out there. I've been in the dugout with him. He was on that 14 team when we won. He says all the right things. He motivates the guys. He's a selfless player. So he's got a lot of that stuff going for him. With some of the people that he gets are also people that people want to play with. So that goes back to your roster composition. I think it's a combination of things. What you ask is something that we've all probably asked out here. And I think JB puts on the message board more often than anybody else is why would you want to be number 20 when you could probably start on any other team?
It's going to be interesting. That's a great thing to look forward to in the next show is bring Bronny on and just say, hey, man, what's the secret sauce? It's not that anybody can't do it, but at the same time, it's like the Holy Grail, get anything above 13, but you start going in 15, you start pushing it. You get 15 players and they're all capable of starting. That's a neat thing to figure out, hey, is it just timing? Is it, is it something that you're doing in your management style? Is it sponsorships that helps, so it'd be interesting. Bring them out just to have some fun, ask them and see what's going on. But yeah, man, I think these are great points. And I want to tell you, and we're going to wrap it up real quick. I want to thank you guys again for coming out, man. You guys are always willing to come out and to spend some time with us. It's Sunday afternoon. I know Steve is sitting there itching to turn on and watch that damn TV. So I know what kind of sacrifice he made. Justin has all his fine bourbons up there in his barn, and obviously, he's gonna, once he stops spending money on bourbon, he can up his Wi-Fi, his wireless router, and he's gonna be crystal clear for us. It's gonna be great. Joe always makes a point to join us, whether it's at work or from home, and so I truly appreciate y'all's time. It's extremely valuable, and I don't take it for granted. Hey, man, for this version of what we're doing with the Police Softball podcast, I want to thank you guys, and Waxahachie Pumpkin, glad you made it. Well, how cool is that, man, to be able to have a show and to be able to sit back and not have to worry about anything and just watch it?
No, I'm glad those guys hooked up with us on Sunday and we're able to get that done. Unfortunately for Steve, the first half was Casey's great half, and he missed all the greatness. And the half that he watched, Kansas City scored 3 points, and Cincinnati came back and won the game. So
I was just going to say that, man. I guarantee you Steve's going, damn it. Because that's pretty good. It's a pretty good lead, in the beginning. But as we know in sports, can't take anything for granted.
I was wanting to make a comment on a couple of those things that we talked about.
Yeah, man.
So there was one in particular, and that's the Wolf and Brennan comment that was made. As far as there's been some comments on I guess Stooley, whether or not they're going to be with DEA next year, whether they're moving back to Arizona. I didn't know at the time on Sunday. Today, I believe, from what I've been told, they're still on DEA roster, and there's not going to be any movement going back to Arizona. So, or what did I say? Wolf. Sorry, Lou. Fox. So it's one of those furry animals. Yeah, fox. But anyway, yeah. So Fox and Brennan.
One of those furry animals.
But those guys, suppose, from what I heard today, that they're playing with DEA this year. So there's no there's not going to be any movement with that. I think that was just Stooley chirping again, like he does it's about 50-50 with him. Stooley gets about half of the stuff right, and maybe Stooley put that wolf thing in my head, Lou. I have to double check that too. One other thing that I didn't talk about with our team, the movements and everything, was a pitcher that we picked up, Matt Small, and he's from Southern Missouri. He's a police officer down there. He's played USSSA. He's a pitcher, obviously. He's been doing that for about 8 years. Played high level. He's played at a high level. He's got some conference experience, and we're looking forward to adding him. That's a huge piece, a guy that can glove it up the middle and get the ball over the plate. So really looking forward to adding him on the team. And also the TJ Duckett, I don't see, we're getting a lot of names wrong. You call him Devin Luckett, TJ Duckett. I'm calling,
I got bad information, man.
Wolf. I don't know.
I can only do what I do and the information I get.
And I don't know if you noticed, but D Ward pointed out that D Ward's obviously from Michigan, and big MSU fan, Michigan State. And where did TJ Duckett play football? Michigan State. And he let us know that and then he went on to a nice NFL career for a few different teams. But
I can't wait to meet PJ Puckett. I can't wait to meet him, man. When I meet him, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, PJ, what's up, man?"
Yeah, I'm gonna blame that getting Fox's name wrong on you. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on a couple of those things before we move on. But
yeah, the Chiefs. I knew when I saw it again before the show, I was like, "Oh man, Steve." I was comfortable with it also because I wanted the Chiefs to be there. I did, and damn it, didn't happen. Give a big shout out to Selena, who's watching from my living room on our comfy sofa. So my sister-in-law. Cool things, man, in business, but of course on a personal level that are happening with us. And so I'm really excited about that. So it's really cool. I also wanted to make sure that everybody knew about our show ideas. So I put this up earlier about if you have an idea for a show or a subject matter that you like to have brought up, man, let me know. Email me at trini@shieldsforkids.com. We'll look into it. We'll make it happen, man. Always looking for that, or a guest. You got a new player to the circuit on the team and get a little background on them and feature them on the show. It'd be a wonderful thing to do. Also noticed Lyle. I liked his comment. And as a manager, communication is huge. It blows my mind when you send out multiple group texts and the same guys don't respond and you have to contact them individually. And he goes, I'm not doing that this year. It is extremely challenging as a manager of a team with with all the different things that go on with managing a team. And so, like I said in Vegas, man, I really would like to on this upcoming year, said it last year, just have like a little manager's powwow where we can at least almost be each other's little therapist or something and just let off some steam with topics that only managers, can understand. It's difficult, but it speaks to the love of the game and the camaraderie. And I believe that it's actually backwards, camaraderie and then the game. And Joe, I know you do it because of when you get there with the guys, it's a great time. You have the laughs and everything. And then it all culminates on the field. But in the end, man, it's all about the relationships. And so I thought that was a really good point, Lau. Let's see here. Mark says how painful it is for Steve to watch this replay today. Ouch. Yep. And then Bronny, man, I'd like to have Bronny on the show. I do believe it'd be neat to be able to, get some insight from the guy. I mean, I've heard a lot, throughout the years, and ultimately it'd be really neat to have him on the show. So if you got to hook up with Bronny, let him know. If you'd like to have him on the show, it'd be cool to highlight him. So anyway, I think that's a really cool thing. Let's see here. Deanna's letting me know that, let's see, Joe. Yeah, do it, Deanna. Let's see. What do we got? Joe, you're going to have to help me out with this one real quick. What was that about?
So that was I meant to have that shown earlier when we were talking about what I've done over the last couple of months when I played in that tournament out there, that All Forces tournament out in Vegas. That was Andy Sides, our first baseman, or I don't know what he's going to be playing this year, whether it's first base / EH, whatever. But anyway, that ball he just hit was cleared the net out there. And one thing I've never seen was an umpire comes, grabs the bat out of his hand, and then I don't know, shoots the ball out of the air. I don't know what he got a bazooka.
Show it again, Deanna. Show it again, so we can.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. That was pretty good.
That was pretty cool on that umpire's part.
Never seen that, but no, Andy went on he started that. He had a great tournament. He started that tournament. He was 12 for 12 with 10 home runs. He was absolutely mashing the ball. But yeah, I meant to show that one earlier. That was just kind of unique. That I think that umpire actually umped our World Series. I didn't see him do any of that. Maybe I missed it. Maybe he did do it on one of the fields. I don't know.
That's cool.
Someone hit it over the net, but he looked familiar. I think he did. I think he was at ours as well.
That's cool, man. Well, we got another video, but before that, Lou goes, geez, bomb. Now, I've seen Lou. He's being nice because Lou has sent a few of them over the net.
Lou crushes the ball, man.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Let's see that second video.
He didn't want to shoot mine down. Didn't go over the net.
Wait a minute. That was you?
That was me, man. I didn't see.
Holy. Oh, no. They got to see it again because that shirt was tucked out and you look like you'd been doing a lot more squats and taking some extra protein. Let's see.
You checking out my butt, man?
Yeah, well, Let's see. My goodness, Joe.
See, I had to send that one into Deanna. I wanted to play that one earlier as well, but I wanted to send that one into Deanna because you always show me swinging and missing. So,
oh, you mean like our wait? Go ahead. You mean like that?
Exactly. You show the golf swing where I swing.
You know what? That was pretty quick. Deanna, can we show it one more time for everyone to see that?
Oh man, that never gets old, man. Never gets old.
Is that the one you were talking about? Oh, hey, look, Lou, gray hands. Yeah, not on that one, Lou. Manny Reyes joining us. What's up, brother?
What up, Manny?
Happy to have him back.
How's his rehab going? Doing pretty good? The arm doing good?
Take it easy, man. That's our team secret. You don't need any insight on that. But he is doing well. He's got his pulled hamstring, pulled bicep, pulled neck muscle. Everything that's pulled is all healed. Don't worry.
At least he did it all at once. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was pretty cool, man. And man, Joe, excellent job, man. Doing a great job. Hey, we had Jeff Blair did a pre-recorded clip for us with his predictions of the upcoming year, but unfortunately, it didn't come out the best. We're going to have to work that out, but I want to highlight that on the next show. So we'll definitely have Jeff's forecast for the upcoming year. I do want to hit on the 2022 tournaments real quick if we can. Let's see here. There you go. So that's a list of the tournaments. Of course, you can see it on the ps.com website. But when you look at these tournaments, I'd like to highlight two of them in particular. The St. Louis Show Me Classic, August 6th and 7th, which, Joe, by the way, I got a trip to Costa Rica. It's already paid for. Not sure how I'm going to make this happen. My team will be there without a doubt.
Trini.
I just don't know how I'm going to work that. We're going to have to see how this goes.
It's just not like it used to be with me and you, man.
You're not giving me enough attention, Joe. That's the problem. Give me a little more. I am needy. And you got to give me some more attention, but it is.
I'm going to have to book a trip during Waxahachie now. I got to figure out where I want to go.
On that note, September 9th and 10th, the Keepers of the Peace National Softball Championships in Waxahachie, Texas. So make sure you definitely take a trip to those two. But yeah, there's the list of tournaments. If you have a tournament coming up and it's not on this list, please let us know so we can update them and highlight them on the show. One of the other things I want to do is give a shout out to the Kentucky Blue. So we got the Kentucky Blue. You got to be on the inside to understand who country is. And then ultimately get a hold of somebody from the Kentucky Blue or send me a message, Trini@shieldsforkids.com, for your hydrating needs. Deanna, we can take that tournament list down. So for your hydrating needs, make sure you get a hold of me so I can put you in contact with the Kentucky Blue team, because they have some great hydrating liquids for you at tournaments throughout the country. If you just let us know, we'll make it happen. You can pre-order. You want to pre-order. I will just say that apple pie is my best hydrating liquid that they offer. And so, yeah, if you get a hold of us, we're going to make that happen. Yeah. Joe, you ever had any of those hydrating liquids?
I've had quite a few. I think it might be the opposite of hydrating, honestly. But it's but I've had the green apple, I've had the apple pie, the peach. There's a lot of the clear. I mean, it's good. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
It is good. It is good. I don't know why I cramp up when I have those hydrating liquids from the Kentucky Blue, but it's a good cause to support. So on that note, Joe, thank you so much, man. I want to give a big shout out to Deanna. Deanna made this thing come together she's in the background. Every once in a while she'll show herself, but she doesn't like to, but I give her a lot of credit. It's awesome. Do me a favor, please. Like I said, head to my YouTube channel at Trini Trinidad on YouTube. Sign up, subscribe, please. If you can watch, it'd be a great thing to be able to have you guys watch on YouTube. It helps us a lot. Joe, thank you again on behalf of myself, Deanna, Joe, and the Waxahachie Pumpkin. There he is. On behalf of us, thank you so much for tuning in again. This is Trini Trinidad. And don't forget, man, I got your 6.